Hey everyone, I wanted to make a really quick guide for the map Lakeside, which is one of the new maps in the ranked ladder pool, and specifically a strategy with Order of the Dragon that I think is really strong right now. So we're going to jump right into it here. We're starting off with the dock opener. In this case for Order of the Dragon, it's 4 on wood, and then we're rallying onto the sheep, and we send one villager over here to the water's edge. And the reason why we do that is because Lakeside is a very unique map in that all of the resources spawn in almost the exact same place, no matter how many times you generate this map. It's almost always the exact same, which means you almost always have, not almost, but always have a deep water fish right here, and your opponent has a deep water fish right here. And what I'm finding is that at this level, and again, Baron Rosso I think is around Conqueror 1 level right now, people aren't taking advantage of this seaside food. And you can, and it allows you to kind of get that extra food that you need for your civilization, and specifically for Order of the Dragon, who tends to struggle with food as the game goes on. Having this in your back pocket, literally behind your base, is just extremely beneficial. So as you can see, we are continuing to rally onto the wood. I think I missed macro here and I end up sending these guys back to food for a second, but what your plan is you want to get up at least 4 fishing boats onto this deep water fish. I wouldn't do any more than 4 actually. I think it's a good amount because it allows you to constantly be kind of taking this resources back to the dock without exhausting it too quickly and expending too many resources on the water in that case. Our opponent is Roos, and so we're collecting as many sheep as we can, but as you know with Roos, they have a tendency to go multiple scouts. As you can see, he's doing the exact same thing, getting as many sheep as he can. But our opponent's strategy in this game is to go up with pro scouts, followed by fast castle into archery ranges for the very typical horse archers in this particular meta. And what that means is that luckily, because there's no early pressure for us, which means we get to do whatever it is that we want to do. He's going up with the Golden Gate, and on our side, we're continuing to get more food, continuing to get out those fishing ships as well, so that we can head up with the Minework Palace up to the next stage. Something you want to think about if you are dealing with somebody who's going to be maybe putting on some more early pressure is you want to build a tower. And my recommendation would be to build the tower out here. And you might say, why would you do that? Why wouldn't you want to build it back here beside your mining camp, which would be much more safe and where your villagers can garrison properly? The reason for this tower is not necessarily to garrison, but to prevent a tower rush. Because as I was saying before, your resources on this map are the exact same all the time. Your gold is always going to be forward, which does make you somewhat susceptible to early tower pressure on this gold vein. You do have one in the back of your base right here in the corner, but if you can spend 100 wood and not have to have all that idle time running back and forth and potentially be then kind of raided on this backside, why not spend that gold? In this case, I had scouted he was doing pro scouts into fast castle, so I knew that I had the time and the space that I needed to do what I want to do. I also knew he was probably going to go up with horse archers, so I built myself an archery range at this point as well. You can see that he has 6 scouts and is currently vacuuming up all the deer over here, getting it all back to his town center. I'm kind of going very heavy on gold, very heavy on food. And the only upgrade that I've gotten from the Minework Palace in this feudal age was Golden Cuirass, which is right here, and it provides additional tankiness to your man-at-arms when they're low on health. And let me tell you, based on this strategy, your man-at-arms are going to be getting low on health, because we are burger rushing. That's right, this is a strategy that's a bit of like a burger rush aggression into kind of then taking a step back and becoming much more defensive. So I'm going up with 7 here just to kind of rush my way up to the next stage. He's also very close to aging up, as you can see, but I am going to get there a little bit before him. I have all this safe food in the back. I still have plenty of sheep, which means that I have all the resources that I need in order to continue going forward and causing problems. I'm getting +1 ranged armor, Iron Undermesh right now, and as soon as I'm up, guess what? It's man-at-arms time. I also am being cognizant of the fact that his horse archers are going to be able to kite my man-at-arms quite effectively, so getting some additional ranged units in order to help with that is going to be very helpful. But as you can see, my rally point is right over here in the middle of his base, and that's where I'm going to be trying to cause as many problems as I can. He's almost up now with the high trade house, but guess what? My man-at-arms is here and it's ready to cause problems. And I just want you to take a second and watch what happens here, because it's truly crazy. And just like that, he has 24 villagers idle. And my man-at-arms is taking negligible damage from this because I now have ranged armor 2, and I'm currently about to get military academy, which means that the number of units coming from that Burgrave Palace is just going to be increasing in speed as we continue forward. So as you can see, one man-at-arms causing massive economic problems for my opponent here. And I start to kill villagers as well. 1 goes down, 2 goes down. And these guys are not taking any damage, not only from the arrow fire from the town center and tower, but also from this horse archer, which is one of the reasons why I got that. And now I have a gilded archer that's arriving, and I will be continuing to produce from here as I get housed myself, because I'm a good player. But yeah, still continuing to put a lot of pressure on, and just trying to cause as much idle time and problems as I can. Killing some scouts, getting people into this, the TC here. This guy's been running around this entire time, is still alive, finally goes down after all that time, killing some knights. Again, still 32 idle. He's not gathering a single thing. And while all of this pressure is happening, I do take a step back here just to, I don't want to press too hard and cause too many problems for myself. I have the opportunity that he's going to be able to bounce back towards me. But I'm continuing to rally forwards, now going for Steeled Arrow for additional ranged damage. And very shortly, I take some of my wood and I start to do what is the next part of the strategy. And that is, and kind of behind all of this early aggression, I'm going for the relics. They're all spawning right here. There's 3 in the middle. You have an additional one over here on the side. Sometimes it spawns at the back. His is spawned in the back in this case. But as you can see, I'm just causing problems. I destroyed a blacksmith here. I've defeated a good chunk of his army. He's going to run forwards, but I have crossbows. I have plenty of archers, and I can just be as annoying as possible here. You can see that I've killed 5 villagers, which has put me ahead in the villager count. And as Lord of the Dragon, if you're ahead in villagers, you know things are going well, because your villagers are more expensive, and they also take longer to train, so their additional carrying capacity is definitely putting me in an economic lead as I continue to just cause problems in the back of his base, ruining as much of his production as I possibly can. He brings some people forwards here, but even these guys, I'm killing a huge portion of his army, continuing to idle out. I've done 10 villager kills. As you can see though, he is starting to kind of stabilize. He's able to get some horse archers. He's got the gold in the back now. He's got additional wood. Getting fully into this, I could potentially push, but that could also maybe open me up to some problems as I continue forward. But I now have 4 relics. And so what do I do now? I transition. I bring my army back. I bring them back to the monks so that all of these very low health man-at-arms can heal back up to full because they're extremely tanky. And I have started to focus on the clear victory condition of this one, which is Sacred Sites. I've gone ahead and gotten 2 outposts. I think I misclicked and got, what's it called? I got arrow slits on this one as opposed to the springled emplacement. But as you can see, that's kind of my new focus. I'm continuing to build up and hold these sacred sites with castles, with towers. I'm mining the big stone in the middle that's giving me all this additional stone that I need to get these upgrades. And what's he doing? He's stuck in his base trying to recover from the amount of pressure that I was putting on there. I have people now kind of mining gold on the back since I've exhausted the front. Don't need that many on gold because I have 4 relics. He was able to secure this 1 relic down here, which was too bad. I had 1 prelate who was hoping to sneak in, but didn't quite work. But here is the key. It's this town center. Because this town center in this particular location covers all of these in the influence required to do emergency repairs. So as soon as this goes up, not only does this allow me to continue to maintain parity with him in terms of the number of villagers that are being produced, but I also gain the emergency repair ability on all of these static defenses, which is huge. It means that he has almost no chance of potentially pushing in here and decapping these sacred sites in the 3.5 minutes that are now left on this timer. So you can see I'm continuing to build up my army. There's crossbowmen, archers, man-at-arms. There's a couple of lance connect as well that are kind of built in here. And I'm just sitting here waiting. There's 1.5 minutes left, and he shows up with this army, and I'm just going to show you what happens, because it doesn't go very well. He sends a warrior monk down here and is immediately decimated by this, and I just kind of sit back, A-move, maybe do a little bit of microing with my archers and crossbowmen, and he has a mangonel that's firing on me. He has plenty of crossbowmen to deal with my man-at-arms, and yet here we are. He's unable to push in. This is raining down upon him with Springolds. And I also build, I think, a Gilded Knight as well, just to be able to loop around the back to cause problems. And just like that, he taps out. So, this is a relatively skilled player and had seemingly no chance whatsoever as soon as I was able to kind of implement this strategy, which I think is something you can definitely do in your games because it's not that difficult. You go for that dock, you gain the additional food, it allows you to get up to castle nice and safe, provide a lot of immense pressure, and then you can easily take a step back. You can either destroy them then and there or take a step back and be defensive and win the game in that way. We're going to go back here just really quickly to show you some of the timeline. You can see villager count. I'm ahead for more than half the game in terms of number of villagers, which, as I said, OOT villagers gather faster, so that's a huge improvement. And military count, he is able to get a huge thing, but that is a massive drop-off right there. And he absolutely did not have enough, even close actually, to deal with the static defenses that I had built up around there. And after all that talk about building that town center for emergency repairs, I didn't even have to touch it. He wasn't even strong enough to make me use that ability. So that just goes to show how much extra was left in the tank in that situation, and really had no chance and wasn't even close. So give this a shot in your games when you're on the ranked ladder. I think it's a great strategy. Again, I'm not an OOTD player. I've played them a handful of times, to be honest, mostly just on this map. And I'm finding that it's a really easy to execute strategy that causes some major problems for your opponent. So give it a shot. I do stream on Twitch if you want to catch me. It's Synthexor over there as well as on YouTube here, Synthexor Gaming. So yeah, it was great to share this with you. Hopefully it works for you. Let me know in the comments if it does. And we'll catch you on the next one. Thanks so much for watching. Bye.